What does the CRISP DM methodology for data mining entail? What does the data analyst do in each step? CRISP DM, or Cross Industry Standard Process of Data Mining, is a structured and validated approach to data mining. It is broken down into 6 phases, and I will discuss each phase briefly. The first phase is business understanding, which, as it sounds, is the process of understanding business goals and priorities so you can tailor your data mining projects to support them. The second phase is data understanding, a step that involves gathering data and checking it for any quality issues. From there, you can begin to explore the data to get your first insights. Data preparation is next, a step in which you prepare your data for analysis. The modeling phase comes after your data is prepared. In this phase, you will decide which combination of logic and algorithms to apply to your data set. Once you've decided which model to use, you'll design a test plan for your model, and then you will construct your prototype model. Next, in the evaluation phase, you will evaluate whether the model meets the business goals defined in phase 1. And lastly, in the deployment phase, the model will be deployed. It is the job of the data analyst to continue to monitor and document model performance and generate periodic reports. Question 2. Explain what needs to be done before you can forecast time series. In other words, what does time series analysis involve? If you aren't already working with the data set, the first step would be to collect and clean the data. Next, you would prepare a visualization using the defined variables, and then you would look to determine the components of the time series analysis as stationarity, autocorrelation, or seasonality. If the mean and variance stay the same, it is said to be stationary. In contrast, if there is no observable pattern, it is said to be non-stationary and should be converted into stationary for effective modeling. If the value of the data points is always equal at a given time period, then autocorrelation has occurred, and if there are fluctuations that occur at periodic intervals, then the TSA component is seasonality. Additionally, a moving average may be needed to model a single variable to help smooth out fluctuations and more easily reveal trends. Question 3. Discuss the main principles of data ethics, as well as what companies or organizations could do to uphold these principles. Privacy, transparency, accountability, and equality are the main principles of data ethics. Privacy entails that individuals should be in control of their personal data, and organizations must comply with data privacy laws to ensure that this tenet is upheld. Transparency means that individuals need to have a clear understanding of the data that organizations are collecting and sharing. An organization needs to be transparent about the data they are handling and processing, both internally and externally. Accountability means that organizations are responsible for the data they collect and share and must keep it safeguarded or be held accountable if they fail to do so. Lastly, equality means that organizations should not participate in any discriminatory practices when processing and handling data. Provided that organizations adhere to the laws and regulations that govern them, they should uphold these principles. Question 4. Imagine you're in analysis at a financial service company and you have some concerns about bias in the way a predictive model was measured. How would you raise your concerns with your manager? Make some suggestions for how to avoid measurement bias in the future. Before voicing concerns over the data, I would inquire about it, what it was collected for, what variables were looked at, who were the individuals doing the measuring, etc. I would then compare the scores of the investigators to give a better understanding of just how far off the measuring may be. I would then inform my manager of my concerns, sticking to facts while presenting my findings. Beyond that, it would be up to the manager's discretion on further actions to take. To avoid measurement bias in the future, there should be multiple measuring devices, and investigators should also have the appropriate levels of training and experience. Question 5. Explain the difference between regression and classification models and predictive analysis. When would you use one of these models over the other? Regression models show how one variable may affect another in order to make a prediction, whereas classification models predict what category an entity will fall into based on a set of predefined features. Depending on the type of analysis you're looking to do, then one method would be better suited over the other. If you're looking to determine how one variable affects another, say for instance how the price of an item impacts its sales, then you would look to use a regression model. If you were, however, looking to target certain groups of customers with ads, you would use a classification model.